starts now.
Well, now that disgraced Lowcountry attorney Alex Murdaugh's bid for a new murder trial came up short, his attorneys plan to continue their appeal to the higher courts, and they feel confident about their chances.
Murdaugh has alleged that comments made by Colleton County Clerk of Court Becky Hill to jurors during a 6-week trial last year led to his convictions for the murders of his wife Maggie and his son Paul. On Monday, a judge denied the defense's motion for a new trial, but found that Hill was not completely credible. Nick Neville covered that trial and was in the courtroom yesterday. So, Nick, what comes next?
Greg and Judy, so basically Murdaugh's defense, they're now going to immediately resume their appeal of the murder convictions. They had to put that on pause so they could try to get this new trial. They plan to take this case to the Court of Appeals, the state Supreme Court, and then the federal courts if necessary.
This was not going to be the final say-so on the law. That's going to be determined by the appellate courts, and that's the next step.
After their client Alex Murdaugh's request for a new trial was denied Monday, defense attorneys Dick Harpootlian and Jim Griffin say they're optimistic that Murdaugh's murder convictions will be overturned by higher courts. They say they're basing that belief in part due to some of the comments that retired South Carolina Supreme Court Chief Justice Jean Toal made in announcing her decision. The clerk of court in the case, Becky Hill, she contended, crossed a line with some of her comments to jurors.
I find that the clerk of court is not completely credible as a witness. Ms. Hill was attracted by the siren call of celebrity.
In a press conference following the ruling, Murdaugh's defense team asserted that the facts of the grounds for a new trial are on their side.
With the facts resolved, the only issue is what is the law? And as Judge Toal said, that is unsettled. This is not, it's going to go through the appellate courts, and we feel strongly that we'll win.
Various courts around the nation have used different standards when weighing allegations of jury tampering in trials. The standard applied by Judge Toal required that Hill make improper comments and that those comments affected the verdict. That's a determination that attorney Mandy Powers-Norrell said could be viewed differently in higher courts.
When she found that Becky Hill was not credible, that she had made improper comments about the evidence to at least one juror, I think that may be the only box that you have to check under the Rimmer standard and under the Cameron standard to get a new trial. I do think they have a good shot at getting it overturned. And now that pains me to say that.
And the appeal process here could take up to 4 or 5 years, that according to Jim Griffin. Even if Murdaugh is granted a new trial, he's not a free man. He's already facing 27 years in prison for a slew of financial crimes. And as for Clerk of Court Hill, she's currently under investigation by SLED over the jury tampering allegations and also whether she used her elected position for personal gain. Live in the studio, Nick Neville, WIS News 10.
All right, Nick, thanks. And among the arguments that Murdaugh's attorneys have made in their appeal is that the presiding judge allowed extensive evidence of those financial crimes to be admitted as evidence and that his Fifth Amendment rights were violated. Judge Toal